Welcome, everybody.
Greetings.
We are so excited to begin this introduction and welcome you to an evening of getting a sense of how this exciting course on sacred sites as consciousness tools will
Consciousness.
unfold
This is about enhancing consciousness.
through sites, through the land, through connecting to something that each one of us holds as sacred. So sacred sites.
Sacred sites.
And how many of us have been exposed to people who work with sacred sites and how they connect to the stars. We will be exploring some of that in
Right.
this course as well. We wanted to start by saying that between David and I, we have basically 55 years of collective history. It's a
Say
big number
that way.
of
Big.
tending
Okay.
this particular site of the land that surrounds Star House. And we've learned a lot from the land,
Right.
from different traditions, from
Right.
one another, from
Right.
all the community people who have
Right.
freely given of their time and attention to bring conversation to the
Right.
site. So
It's important. Someone wrote to say, well, are you going to recognize the indigenous traditions? We'll talk about indigenous and indigenosity later. It's really important to act because the indigenous peoples understood how to relate to that particular location and the sacred sites that were built in that location to connect heaven and earth coming up. And so we acknowledge the traditional carers for the sites that we'll be working with, from which we have taken inspiration and built consciousness tools around the Star House, actually.
But the other thing that's woven in, speaking of sort of the braiding of the traditions that have gone into these sites around the Star House, we also need to really reach into Pythagorean principle.
Yeah.
A lot of our sites have geometric presence. As you work with your sites, that may or may not be an element, but it's a key element here because of the essence of geometry.
And what has been called the Platonic solids, which are equal sides, equal shape, cube, tetrahedron, icosahedron, dodecahedron, those actually go back. There are actually models of those in stone that go back to 3rd millennium BC in England and elsewhere. So we will be talking about the traditions which are helpful to recognize, because then you realize that's a taproot to take you into connection with the origins of the thinking and recognition of these powers going back, way back.
So David and I will share what we have learned, and then we want to invite you to bring what's sacred to you, what you learn, what you know. There will be a lot of collective intelligence on the call and in this exploration together. So we really invite that. But that you'll find your pattern inspired by hopefully what these courses will indicate, at least templates that we've learned from. They may not be yours, because it's important that you bring what's sacred to you. It's been a principle and a value of Star House from the beginning that we're a trans-denominational temple. We really honor a kind of Gnostic knowing, a direct knowing that people come with all the things we've mentioned: your ancestry, your place, your studies in this life, your karmic connection. You bring all of that, and with it comes wisdom. And the greatest success in this course would be for us to be able to help inspire one another to connect directly to land, to create conversation with a land you are in relationship with already, and make that bigger and more enhanced.
This course will be great for preparing you to visit the Star House and work with these tools specifically on site. Here you are working with them. However, you may live in a place where it's not possible to visit Star House. So that's one of the things we want to train you to make versions of these tools that work wherever you are. We're very interested in more people becoming more awake, because the call to serve a planet in distress is increasing in volume.
Mm.
So we're very interested in finding ways to empower you to become one of those actors in this great drama.
Great. We're going to invite you right now to actually join the chat and respond to the inquiry of what is a sacred site. So if you would each just take a moment to connect with what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
What is a sacred site? What makes a site sacred? So we can create just a little bit of dialogue with you. All right, we're going to read a few of them back. Resonant energy. Thank you, Catherine. One
Yay!
of my favorite words, and one that we will be actually
Exploring, because
exploring.
it's hard
Yeah,
to know
it's-
exactly what that means. It's
I was
actually,
just going to say that it's like, challenge to talk about what is resonance, and you can talk about it musically, and there's ways you can talk about it, but how that it relates to this topic, I think is absolutely fundamental. So thank you for making that the first comment. It'll come up again. A sense of awe and special power and energy. Thank
Good.
you, Rich.
good.
Herein, we are talking about resonance with our templates and tools. Many of you who've worked with us have familiarity with concentric circles.
So concentric circles, we're going to go into that in the next slide much more deeply. This is an overview of some of what we're interconnecting. We're going to use concentric circles as a tool to understand the second item, our own 7 energy centers, and applying them to geomythology.
Okay, creating sacred sites for yourselves. So that's the third point. We've mentioned enough about that. And then resonance. I love this image. It kind of brings a picture to what resonance might look like, if you could see it. It's a feeling. It's when you hear a chord or even one note in a certain sound chamber, and suddenly that note echoes and sees you and comes back to you. So there's something in this that is movement, it's geometric, it's in consonance, it's not dissonant, it's got geometries, it's beautiful, it's colorful. So that was one way of honoring resonance.
Some people call this in the zone.
Hmm.
Same idea of resonance.
All right, so this is an image of concentric circles for those of you who may not be familiar with it. And again, this will be a quick overview for this night, but we're going to look at the bottom, like from the middle going down towards 6 o'clock. That's the quadrant we're looking at. So in the center, the story for us in this coursework will be the physical body as sacred site. So that's the more contracted energy. It's the place that we are one way of looking at it, it's the most dense of the 3 circles. Moving down to the middle circle there, beneath the center is the collective practice, making an indoor or outdoor altar or sacred site. That would be one way of holding the kind of group work that we'll do together and discovering, what did you learn? Based on, we will find our direction with the template, and then we'll all go into some direct experience with an energy center. We'll be using our example, and sort of a teaching tool will be the sacred sites around Star House, because they've been fed by many people, and it is sort of the feeding the holy of the collective. But it would be ideal that wherever you are in the world, that you would be going out to having that experience in your own way. And then the outer circle, or the third circle there, is serving the earth herself as a sacred site, and that would involve collective practice. It would be involving, to some extent, the mythos of stars, constellations, planets. All right, now we're going to review kind of what we've been saying with visuals. So on the left is the concentric circle, and this is the center circle, the physical body, working with the Hindu tradition's interpretation of chakras and the 7 energy centers.
It's interpreted as Hindu, but it's actually pre-Hindu as well. It goes way, way, way back.
So this is the center circle, physical body in resonance with sacred landscape. I'm going to blow up this, well, I'll enlarge this map so you can see it better. And again, to say this is our work of, some many decades collectively, and of many people on this call who have tended these sites, David. Okay, so.
Oh my God, it relates to the world. What does that say?
That says, my body is the body of the earth. My heartbeat is her heartbeat. Okay, so my body's the body of the earth. This is where we start looking now at the imagery of chakras and places.
You see this, there's a list there. It goes from base chakra at the top down to the crown. So the same sequence of 7. We're working with this 7-fold, a pattern that's been given to us all the way back to Zarathustra, who predates Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, all of it. So this 7-fold, and we're working with the credit here has to do with Robert Kuhn, and his association of the chakras of the planet.
Yeah, so just know we're holding this somewhat lightly, but we're also going to work with it because it gives us a map, so to speak, and it gives us layers or nested reality to hold in common, which will strengthen our capacity as a community to work together. So I think we're now going to pause for a minute and come back. So we've gone out to the planet. Now we're coming back into the center circle, not the center, but the middle circle of where we work with Starhouse and how we started to discover the resonance in pattern and form. But the floor, you can kind of get the sense of it, is like 12 pie slices in a round room. So when this overlay was done, you're looking at the floor on the left with the 12 zodiacal signs, and obviously a piece of art overlaying it, and then just indicating on the right. This is a way of looking at the heart chakra, though there's actually. So now we're going to go to that 3rd circle and share a video that is related to Haleakala. So this is Haleakala. So just gonna complete this heart meditation by seeing this as the volcano as you're in that beautiful place in Maui. And just invite you one more time to kind of drop in, and now collectively that we take this place into our heart, into the collective heart as a rich and powerful portal that meets all of the words that were put into the opening chat of reverence,
Mhm.
of resonance,
Mhm. Awe.
awe. A place that changes you when you are in it. You feel higher, bigger, brighter. So the course begins next Wednesday. It will be all recorded. It's intended to be a 7-week course, and you can make it up. It'll also be on an evergreen course after that, which means it'll exist on the Star House site. With much thanks to Debbie and Shannon for the creation of how the Star House site is reflecting so much of these sacred mysteries that this temple has brought to life and light. Also on that site, these sites are very connected in many ways to a program that Debbie's stewarding called Earth Star Experiences. She may have more to say about that, but they're beautifully presented on the site as a way to come up to this place to experience some of these chakra
Some of
sites.
these chakra sites, right? The consciousness tools. Yeah.
Bless you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll have the video recording of this edited down and available as of tomorrow, and then we'll see how we go next week. So open invitation, and it's just been delightful. Highlight of my day to spend time
Yes.
with all of you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Bless
Dear.
you.
Thank you.
Be well.